10th anniversary of Portland Comic Book Month, which is a whole month celebrating comics, which is super cool. So I stopped by City Hall to talk to Pollyann Faith Burge, who is the Arts and Culture Policy Director with Commissioner Udaley's office, and Sarah Merck, who is a contributing editor with The Nib, about what this whole month is about and, more importantly, how we celebrate.
April is Comic Book Month of Portland. A little bit more than 10 years ago, then Commissioner Sam Adams and myself moved to do a proclamation to make April Comic Book Month of Portland. And we did that for many reasons. One is to highlight the amazing comic book creators that we have in Portland, but also as a civic engagement tool to bring people inside of City Hall that maybe have never had come before. So fast forward till now, we're kind of picking that back up and bringing comic creators, bookmakers, publishers, printmakers, activists into City Hall to have a mini Comic-Con here on Thursday, April 4th.
You heard that right. On April 4th at City Hall from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., there is going to be a mini Comic-Con, a party of sorts, with local creators and writers and artists and people doing live art and pizza from Sizzle Pie and beverages from Lionheart Kombucha, which is just very Portland pizza and kombucha. Listen, this is all really great. It's going to be an awesome family-friendly environment. But my question was, why comic books and why a whole month for it?
I think it really cuts through some of the somewhat impenetrable policy language that you use. I don't know how often I've heard people in bureaus say, you know, we have to dumb down the information for people. And I always stop and say, no, we have to smart up how we think about talking to folks, because the folks we're talking to understand the outcomes of public policy. It's in a language that's not very accessible. It's in a lot of acronyms, a lot of buzzwords. And so I think comics really breaks through, both with being an image-based medium, but also being irreverent and fun. I think you can really break through some of those challenges for understanding how public policy works.
Sarah Merck is a contributing editor for The Nib, which is the most read daily comics publication in the country. And she's super passionate about comics in Portland.
And 3 of our editors live here in Portland because it's such a great city for comics and it's such a great comics community. And the Nib publishes political satire and nonfiction comics, so we do both reported journalism in comics as well as like daily punchy political commentary. Yeah, so at the Nib we publish comics every day online, but then we also started doing a quarterly print publication. So I'm holding the first issue of our magazine. It's the Death issue. We thought it was really funny in 2019 to launch a magazine with the theme of death because everyone says print is dead. But I think comics really show that print is not dead. You just have to be publishing something that people really want to buy and hold on to. And so during April, we're celebrating the release of our 3rd issue, which is about empire. So we have all these comics tackling themes of colonization, of conquest, of resistance to empire, all told through comics. And we're going to be selling the empire issue in April, and here at City Hall on Thursday, we're going to be selling issues of our magazine as well as stickers, pins, that kind of thing. I think that the Portland comics community is really supportive and is also really innovative. Like in Portland, we're pushing a lot of changes in comics, and we're pushing sort of like what comics can be and who can be included. Comics has long had a history of exclusion and not being very diverse and not being very welcoming to like women and trans people. And in Portland, what we're trying to do is build a different kind of scene, is build one that's really inclusive, that's really supportive of all different types of creators. And at the Nib, that's what we're trying to do too. So at the Nib, we pay all of our contributors at a pretty good rate, which is really surprising for comics. And they keep control of their comics. They keep the rights to what they make. We publish it and publish it internationally to thousands of people. And so we're really looking to recruit young artists, artists of color, underrepresented artists in other ways, and publish their voices at the Nib, publish their thoughts on politics, publish their thoughts on the world.
So the city of Portland is opening its doors to artists and the community alike for a night of fun to talk about comics and art and engage with these local creators, and it's going to be really awesome. I'm going to be there. Are you going to be there? If you see me, come say hi. I'm friendly-ish, if not a little more awkward in person. And there are more events all throughout the entire month. If you like to read comics, if you want to create comics, if you're both of those things, there is an event for you this month. So you should head on over to kgw.com/comics where there's a story all about what's going on, and there are links to the events, and you can just plan out your whole comic-filled month, which is super exciting. And that's all for now. I will have a comic review for you and some nerd news. We've got lots of stuff to talk about, but I just wanted to tell you about this, preferably before it happened. And to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Portland Comic Book Month, I am only reading comics by local creators. So if you have any suggestions, drop them in the comments below. And I will see you here, same-ish time, same-ish place, sometime later this week. And hopefully, I'll see you in person at City Hall. I'm very excited.